The celebrations start in the Ducati pit.
Loris Capirossi made history by becoming the first Ducati rider to claim a MotoGP race for the factory. During their debut season in 2003, he led the factory in the Grand Prix challenges until Casey Stoner arrived in 2007. He was a challenger and a winner, taking many victories in the 125cc, 250cc, 500cc, and even in the MotoGP. By the time he retired, he'd held the record for the greatest number of Grand Prix starts, a total of 328 between 1990 and 2011, before Andrea Dovizioso and Valentino Rossi beat the record. He was a fantastic rider from the moment he got his hands on a bike, and lived to prove it. What made Loris Capirossi one of the greats? Let's find out. His first debut was with the Polini Honda team in 1990 for the 125cc class, which Paolo Pileri, a former world champion at the time, ran. He was in the top 6 on several occasions and was on the podium 8 times. He claimed victories in Britain, Hungary and Australia. In his very first full Grand Prix season, he claimed the championship. What's more, he was only 17 at the time. He took to his second season in 1991 and did even better, as he defended his 125cc title without giving a sweat. He was out of the front of the grid only once, took 5 pole positions, and summed it up with 4 fastest laps. Out of the 13 rounds, he stood on the podium 12 times and finished in 6th place in Austria. He was second place 5 times and won Australia, Malaysia, and 3 events in Europe. He had 225 totals when all he needed was 200 to rise to the 250cc class. Capirossi was riding a 1-year-old bike in the 250cc class for the 1992 season. In 1993, he had his first victory in the Netherlands, then 2 more in San Marino and the United States. He, however, finished in second place because of a difference of 4 points as Tetsuya Harada took first place, and the 1993 FIM 250cc championship. He performed similarly in 2004, but with an extra victory from the previous year. He finished the season in 3rd place as Tadayuki Okada took second, and Max Biaggi won the 1994 FIM 250cc championship. For the season of 1995, he moved to the 500cc class and participated in the year's championship. He was riding a Honda, but his performance in the qualifying rounds was often better than race performances, but he still managed to take 6th place in the championship. In the 1996 season, Loris missed out on 5 of the initial 7 races at the start of the season, but after that, he was regularly in the points and claimed victory in the final race in Australia. Capirossi returned to the 250cc class in 1997 to battle for the championship. He battled Tetsuya Harada, his Aprilia teammate, until the last race of the season in 1988, when they were involved in a controversial Argentina incident. While Harada was in the lead into the lap's last corner, Capirossi's bike rammed his bike from the back and sent him off the track. Valentino claimed victory while Loris Capirossi recovered, took second place and claimed the world championship. Aprilia then released Capirossi while in the off-season. Capirossi made his way to Honda for the season of 1999 and took 3rd place in the championship with 3 wins. He was involved in yet another controversy that season at Mugello, when he was black flagged for riding dangerously after getting into an accident with Marcellino Lucci when the race began, and also passing under yellow flags. He returned to Honda Pons in the 500cc category and took a victory at his home in Mugello to fall to 7th place in the championship. He remained with Honda Pons for the season of 2001, which was his last season in the 500cc category. He had 9 podiums and finished second place behind his countryman Max Biaggi and Valentino Rossi in the last standings. During the next season, only the Repsol Honda team had the new 4-stroke RC211V bikes at the beginning of the 2002 MotoGP era, while Capirossi and his teammate Alex Barros had to settle for the 2-stroke machines. The battle was uneven and frustrated them, as they had to put up with the old machines. Towards the final rounds, Barros received the RCV, while Capirossi signed with Ducati to spearhead their new MotoGP project for the season of 2002. Capirossi was determined to take on Honda and dominate the Premier class. He fired a warning shot by leading at their first race at Suzuka as he progressed to 3rd place. He recorded a historic victory at Catalunya for Ducati, making him the only rider not from Honda who had won that season. He also had 5 podiums towards the end of the year and was 4th place as the top rider without the RCV. Capirossi and Bayliss continued with Ducati for the season of 2004, but the second season proved tough for the team, as the GP4 tried vaguely to keep up with the leading Hondas and Yamahas. At the end of the season, he managed to claim 9th place in the championship. During the winter, a switch from Michelin to Bridgestone tyres gave the Ducati team very tough early rounds in 2005. However, as soon as they got used to the Japanese rubber, they returned better than ever as he took back-to-back wins at Japan and Malaysia, including 3 consecutive pole positions before he got injured while practicing at Phillip Island, which broke his winning streak. Capirossi returned during the season finale and completed the championship in 6th place. Capirossi, Bridgestone and Ducati started 2006 in the heat with a pole and a win at the season opener at Jerez. Capirossi returned to the top championship ranks after he finished in 2nd place at a Grand Prix in Italy during the 6th out of 17 rounds. He was, however, struck by disaster when he collided with his teammate Sete Gibernau at the beginning at Catalunya, and they were both hospitalized. He missed the restart, making Nicky Hayden take the championship ground from him. Capirossi was knocked out during the horrendous accident, but he didn't have any serious injuries, just a couple of bruises. He returned for the following round, but it was not as competitive as before, as his results dropped significantly, and he fell to 6th place in the standings after the Brno race. He began in 2nd and moved away from the field to get an easy win. He indicated that it was a change in the setup the team had applied to the bike in all the circuits that gave him the results. He rose up the standings in the championship to finish in 3rd place overall, after a 2nd place behind Troy Bayliss at the last race. The new season in 2007 was not a strong one for Capirossi. As soon as the United States Grand Prix ended at the Laguna Seca Mazda Raceway, Ducati announced signing Marco Melandri and extending Casey Stoner's contract from 2008 and 2009. Capirossi was left without a firm position on the Ducati team. There were possibilities of him being 3rd place on the factory team or managing the satellite team, and what's more, he was left in the dark about the decision until the press got a hold of the story, and he was very displeased. In 2008, Capirossi was replaced by Marco Melandri after an announcement as early as Laguna Seca and before the summer break, but he was not ready to retire. Suzuki and Kawasaki then courted him to join Paul Denning's team. He later showed up at Suzuki, determined to prove to them that letting go of a team leader was a wrong decision. That year, Marco's nightmares on the Des Medici proved what Capirossi was talking about. Still, he was not that fortunate either, as he only made it to the podium that year with the GSV-R that more often than not proved it was not up to the task when it came to taking down its top rivals. He was unable to make it to the races at Donington Park and Assen after he was injured, making him fall to 10th place in the overall standings for the championship, while his teammate Chris Vermeulen was 2 places ahead of him. His seat with Suzuki was under threat from Ben Spies, the AMA champion, but Suzuki decided to keep him for the season of 2009, hoping all the immense knowledge he had would be of value to the GSV-R project. Suzuki's expectations fell back compared to their rivals as Capirossi finished the season in 9th place, 1 place higher than the previous year, but this time taking down Vermeulen. Bautista replaced Vermeulen while Capirossi was kept for 2010, where he began his 300th start in the Grand Prix on a quest to claim his 100th podium that was never successful, his best finish for that season being 7th place. He then went back to Ducati, which would turn out to be his last campaign in the MotoGP in 2011. He came in as Pramac's satellite rider, but could not perform as he had in 2007 and only managed to make it to 9th place after the death of his fellow countryman, Marco Simoncelli, at the penultimate round in Sepang. He rode with the number 58 of Valencia, marking his last Grand Prix appearance. Loris Capirossi is currently a Champions for Peace club member, consisting of over 90 famous elites made by Sport and Peace. The group plans to make sport a tool for social cohesion and dialogue. Sperling and Kupfer published his biography in 2017, titled 65, My Life Without Fear, in Italy Only, written by Simeone Sarazzo. Another book, Bell in the Paddock, by Carlo Pernan, describes his major career moments. It's not yet over for Loris Capirossi. He continues his dream, hoping to make a difference in sports, a peaceful difference.